The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. Silvanus is the god of wild nature. He goes by many names, including Oak Father, the Old Oak, Old Father Tree, the Forest Father, Tree Father, and Green Father. He epitomizes the verdant wilds that grow unfettered by the will of man, as well as the steady encroach of the untamed against the walls of civilization. The Tree Father is known by three main aspects. His first form, known as the Old Father, is an elderly, bearded face that protrudes from the trunk of an ancient tree, or who floats in the forest air. His skin resembles ancient wood, and his pale hair hangs like old grey moss. Yet when a sacred grove is threatened, he assumes his second form, being the Young Strider, a slender figure dressed in leafy green armor and wielding a large wooden mallet. His third and most mysterious form is named the Horned Hunter, a fey-like figure coated in brown fur and sporting stag antlers. He never speaks in this form, but may be briefly glimpsed, peering between the trees for but a moment, staring with his piercing white eyes, before making some cryptic gesture and vanishing once again. The history of Faerun has long been shaped by migrant pantheons traveling from other worlds. Within the early days of creation, one such wandering god left his home of nature-oriented god-kings to grant shape and form to the fresh primordial chaos of Hebertoril. This figure was known as Ogma, the god of knowledge, and he came from a distant faith known as Tuatha-De-Danann, the Celtic pantheon, serving their ruler Dagda the Dozen King. Millennia later, the rest of Ogma's kin followed his example to settle in Toril during the early age of Netheril. Among them was Silvanus, who sank deep roots in this new land. Today he has outlived many pantheons and countless civilizations, rising to become a father figure amidst younger forest deities. Whilst many nature deities aspire to strike a balance between man and nature, the Oak Father regards civilization as a subordinate part of the natural world. To him, balance lies somewhere between the wildly beautiful and the uncompromisingly savage, amidst growth and decay, fire and flood, frost and thaw, and feast and fast. Thus, mortal empires and even other gods mean nothing to him, so long as they do nothing to threaten the wilds. And yet, while he may appear to be cold and indifferent, the Tree Father truly cares for all life in his own way. But even this love cannot temper the special hatred he feels towards those who wield fire to burn carelessly. Silvanus patronizes a close coterie of nature deities. Chief among them is Mieliki, the forest queen, his right hand, and her close friend Eldath, the goddess of peace. His relationship with Chontia, the goddess of agriculture, is complicated, for the domestication of plants is antithetical to his own wild nature. Nonetheless, he holds her in high regard, for she oversaw the creation of all life at the world's beginning, while she in turn respects him equally as the caretaker of life beyond her pastoral remit. This found family also includes Vru, the unicorn goddess who serves as Mialiki's mount, as well as Gwaurun Windstrom, the master tracker, as her messenger, and Shialia, the goddess of fertility, as the midwife of nature. Besides these, he has also been known to work beside Lathander, the Morning Lord, to oppose his sworn enemies, the gods of fury, being Talos, the Destroyer, Oral, the Winter Maiden, Malar, the Beast Lord, and Umberlee, the Sea Queen. Likewise, he counts among his foes Telona, the goddess of disease, for her withering of life without restraint. The Green Father dwells within the Celtic promised land of Tirnanog, within the Outlands, at the center of the plains. Within his abode is known as the Deep Forest, populated by ancient trees whose canopies reach up towards the sky. At the heart of this dappled realm lies his own private glade, known as Summer Oak. No crafted building lies within this realm of pure nature. Silvanus may sense anything occurring within 18 miles of himself, his followers, his holy sites, his sacred objects, or any place where his name was spoken within the last hour. He may view up to 20 different locations at once, and he may conceal 2 locations from lesser gods for up to 18 hours at a time. He is aware of any disruption to nature 180 days before and after it occurs, and he knows of everything that is experienced by creatures associated with druidic circles anywhere in the world. He may also create any magic item that is usable by druids or is made of plant or animal matter. The Oak Father's avatars may all cause plants to shrink or to grow at will. His voice commands forest creatures to obey, and he is a powerful spellcaster. In the shape of the Old Father, his spells affecting weather, plants, and animals are tripled in effect. He may create and animate plant life. He may enlarge animals, and he will often utilize treants and beasts to do his will, even turning pets against their owners. As the young Strider, his weather magic is even more potent still, and he wields an enchanted mallet that may summon lightning or water, and he may call a mighty wolfhound to his side. His armor is made of leaves that offer protection equal to enchanted full-plate mail. And finally, as the Horned Hunter, he wields powerful psychic abilities, including telepathy and the power to move immense objects with his mind. Silvanus is a greater deity, unsurpassed in the realm of nature, and his true neutral alignment reflects his indifference to mortals and to gods alike. His clerics tend to wield the nature or the life domain, and they will turn and destroy undead. His chosen weapon is known as the Great Mallet of Silvanus, which his clergy imitate by wielding large wooden hammers that follow the rules for a maul. His divine casters will pray for their spells either at sundown or within moonlight. Followers of Silvanus are known as Silvanites, and they include many druids, barbarians, rangers, hermits, survivalists, and even a few halflings who worship him in lieu of their own nature deities. Silvanites work to protect the wilds from fire, from woodcutters, and from the creeping encroach of farmland. A few will even live in towns and cities, constructing urban gardens and dispensing goods made from the purest, most natural ingredients to attract followers. Prayers to Silvanus will often take place on hilltops or beneath oak trees. The most common practice is to break and to bury a crafted object made of wood, such as a doll, a wagon wheel, or a piece of furniture, returning the timber to the earth from whence it came. Silvanites also observe a number of formal rites, such as the call of oak, ash, and thorn, where the leaves of oak trees, ash trees, and thorny plants are floated on the surface of still water, whilst the tree father is implored to receive the supplicant's prayers. For a more direct connection, one might well undertake the vigil of Silvanus, anointing one's body with powdered acorns and crushed mistletoe mixed with pure water. The worshipper then spends all night in prayer, with their bare skin touching both a growing tree and living green moss. If the rite is successful, they will commune directly with a servant of the Tree Father. The Song of the Trees ranks among their most somber rites, used to heal scarred, diseased, or burned trees. Silvanites will surround the afflicted plant and chant together in a low, haunting melody, whilst woodland creatures will emerge around them, putting aside all instincts of predator and prey to observe dutifully in silence. This rite increases in power the more chanters are present, and in some cases will even restore dead or felled trees to life. The Dryad dance is a secretive rite, whereby the normally stern forms of worship are replaced by music, song, dance, and drinking, which lures dryads out from their sacred trees to take part in the revelry. This dance heals dryads and their trees of any ailments, and empowers said dryads to stray far from their trees for a month afterwards. Some dryads will even mate with Silvanites, leading to the birth of many new oak trees and their fey protectors. Finally, the Thorn Call is a sad occasion, used to protect the wilds from great danger. Performed over the slain body of a creature loyal to Silvanus, it causes a labyrinthine maze of thorns to rise up out of the ground and protect an area. Silvanite holy days are observed on green grass, midsummer and high harvest tide. Likewise, on the 19th of Tarsak, they celebrate a coming-of-age festival known as the Jalesh Rudra, when young Silvanites will dance and commune with messengers of their god in sacred groves. Their most sacred day, however, is known as the Night of the Forest Walks, which may occur on any day of the year. That night, the forests will become restless, and the trees will uproot themselves and walk around, eventually settling in a new location, reshaping the landscape dramatically. The Tree Fathers' clergy is collectively known as the Green Leaf Priesthood, whilst individual clerics, rangers, and druids are known as Forest Masters. And while druids are the most numerous amongst their ranks, all will work together to protect the wilds, to banish diseases, to treat injured animals, to plant new trees, and to oppose creatures who use fire against the forests. Some will even work in secret to support banditry, and to rouse monsters from the forest to drive back overzealous settlers. But otherwise, they will rarely kill without good reason, and they work closely beside the churches of Mieliki and Eldath, often assuming leadership roles in said alliances. Many wild forest masters will wear nothing but a loose, flowing cloak of animal hides adorned with feathers and held together by patches of living moss. But in urban areas, they will wear a simple blue-green metal pin over common clothes to signify their allegiance to the wilds. In formal rites, however, or when adventuring, they will don green breeches and a tunic worn beneath armor made of leaves. Clerics will underpin these leaves with metal plates which act as scale mail, whilst druids and rangers will wear a green-tinted suit of leather armor. For spell-casting foci, they will sometimes use belled branches, being silver tree branches adorned with tiny golden bells hanging down from small chains. But the most sought-after focus is known as a hamadryad egg, being a simple white stone engraved with an oak leaf motif which is said to enhance spellcasting and to grant limited teleportation powers. The hierarchy of the Green Leaf Priesthood varies greatly, as many clerics and rangers lie outside of any formal church structure. Likewise, there are no titles for novices or journeymen among the church, but the upper echelons will reflect the ranks of a druidic circle. Appropriate that druids presently hold all of the most senior positions. Thus, an archdruid will oversee a circle of Silvanites, who in turn will report to a grand druid who governs a whole region. And above them lies a single great druid who commands the whole faith. This uppermost position is severely taxing and is rarely occupied for more than a few years. And finally, one resigning from any senior position will be known as Elder for the rest of their years. The worship of the Oak Father is spread across the length and breadth of Faerun, and is even found within some major cities such as Waterdeep. But it is most widespread in the forests of Tithir, as well as the Dale lands, the untamed forests of the Chondlewood, and especially across the Vilhon Reach, due to a common belief that Silvanus was the only god who did not abandon the Reach during several terrible plagues. Sylvanites can also be found within the Ewer Wood in Aglaron, in the forest kingdom of Cormia, across Impeltur, within the High Forest, on the frontiers of Damara and the Great Dale, in the tribal lands of Turmish, and within the southern Moonshae Isles, where he is worshipped by a druidic society known as the Folk. The Tree Father's greatest temples, known as Old Oak Dell in the forest of Tethir. It is a 1-mile diameter glade, and at its center lies a pool of water that grants visions, surrounded by ancient oaks who are said to be transformed druids from times long forgotten. Another famous site is known as Lion's Oak on the River Ice Hilt in Impeltur, which is rivaled in majesty by Oakenhall, also known as the House of Silvanus, being the headquarters of the Emerald Enclave on the Isle of Heligon, off the coast of the Vilhon Reach. Also notable is the Druidic Enclave of Cedar Spoke in the Guthmere Forest, and various shrines and temples that decorate most cities, towns, and villages of the Vilhon Reach. No formal knightly hoarders swear fealty to Silvanus, but he has been known to associate with several powerful groups across Faerun, notably the Emerald Enclave, who hold militant attitudes towards limiting the growth of civilization. But the Green Father also supports the Harpers, a secret society dedicated to opposing tyranny. For while the Oak Father does not care much for the Harpers' fixation with mortal affairs, their focus on decentralizing military power serves his aims of limiting human impact upon the wilds. In my world, the heretical religion of the Western Heartlands incorporates a markedly Sylvanite deity among their own syncretic pantheon, namely an indifferent tree spirit known as Rainier. Like Silvanus, Rainier manifests as a face emerging from tree bark, and he is similarly unimpressed by mortal concerns. Within their larger heretical cosmology, divine magic is said to originate not from a higher plane of existence, but rather from a single sleeping deity named Brenna, who is suffused with every part of reality. Thus all life and all parts of the natural world are thus interconnected through this Mother Earth goddess. Within this heretical mythology, Rainier serves as an intermediary between her power and that of mortal spellcasters. And thus Rainier is depicted as a sinewy bridge between the natural and the supernatural, with his roots planted deep within the earth as his branches hold up the sky. Sylvanite worship is grounded within firm dogma handed down from the Tree Father to his mortal sons and daughters. Within Silvanus, all things are balanced, from the rains to the drought, from the heat to the cold and even regarding life and death itself. Thus he commands his followers to observe the bigger picture, rather than acting rashly upon popular notions of good and evil. Thus the faithful must devote themselves to understanding the sacred cycle of life, of which we are all part, whilst those who see clearly shall teach others the way of truth, and work against those who would disturb the peace and the balance. Patience is key in all of these endeavors, and so it behooves one to be wise and to think ahead, to work quietly behind the scenes, and to resort to violence only when driven to it, and yet always fight against the felling of trees and the spread of diseases, plant new trees and honor all beings of the forest, especially the dryads. And finally, kill sparingly, but show no mercy to invading orcs, to forest clearers, and to fire wielders.